Alright folks, welcome back. Car chat, truck talk, speed speech, I don't know. Welcome back to Prepper Now. I'm going to chat and drive and chat. Got a lot of fog of war going on right now all over, and this is why I think it's going to get dangerous. So let me lay out my case. So I had a real long one on the crisis report. If you need to get up to speed, go watch the crisis report. It's almost an hour, but it takes you through everything up to and through the very final statements of Israel and Iran, and even into the vice presidential debate. And from what I understand, Vance did very good, and Waltz, anyway, whatever. So I've just been kind of looking and reading at both sides. Get up and I get an article and I put it on the talk to text, drive and listen. And if there's one thing that I'm kind of picking up, is that the escalation is not going to de-escalate. Both sides are really talking themselves up. So let me give you a little bit of the fog of war action going on the one side, and then I'll give it from the other side. Start with the East. So I just read this long thread by this guy who has all these linked articles and everything, and he's saying that there's word in Iran that Yoav Gallant was taken out. 90% of all the missiles were striking their targets. Benjamin Netanyahu was physically shaking in his speech, and all kinds of other stuff like that. Now I can't refute, and I can't, back up any of those reports. In fact, most of this, it's not, why I go to multiple places is because you have to have, as much information as possible. That's when they're like, oh, well, you gotta let us take care of the information. And no, I'm not gonna find out anything after you've sitting there and chlorinated all of it into a very sanitized version of nothing. So on the eastern side of things, they thought yesterday was highly successful, chucked about 200 rockets. Now on the realistic side, listening to Mediterranean Man and actually Middle East Spectator, he's the one. Medman is a nicer, a little bit more younger, emotional version of Spectator. Middle East Spectator said about 60, 70 rockets got through of the 200. So you're looking at about a third, okay? So a third of the rockets got through, according to Middle East Spectator, and I think his numbers are good. Now, when you go on the other side, and you talk to Israel and America, a few errant rockets got through and hit the desert, and nothing was happening. Now you have to understand something too. That's why it's important to have places like this and other places to get your information. There is a complete and total media blackout in Israel. They are not allowing anyone to go out and just speak their mind or talk about stuff. Even people like Amir Sarfati. I didn't get as much as I usually do from him, and the reason why is because, well, first of all, I get a lot from him because he's an Israeli. He's there. But also, he's got the Israeli point of view. He's a very, pro-Israeli. So that's important. You get their mentality, you get their idea, what are they thinking, all that. That all comes from Amir. But yesterday he was very plaintive. He wasn't as in-depth analysis as he usually gets. He'd tell you what's going on, and even that, I thought, there's days that he'll put out 100 posts on Telegram. He probably had about 40. That's not a lot. So I don't think that's because, Israel's getting their butt kicked. I think that's because of the censorship machine of the war. The Israeli suppression of information, and in their mind they're doing it because it's going to help them with operational security. So escalation is going to happen. I don't think there's any doubt about it. There's no way you can look at all this and say, oh, well, they're just going to pack their stuff up and go now. Both sides are warning the other side, if you do this, then we're going to react. Well, Israel basically said if you chuck a bunch of missiles at us or you try to attack us in any way, we're going to hit back even harder. They're saying that they're going to be hitting the nuclear facilities. They say they're going to be hitting the oil rigs. Not in that order. I think it goes oil rigs and missile infrastructure, and then after that they're going to go after the nuclear capabilities. Now the big question is, what will Russia do? A lot of the missile technology, the Fatah, which is what they were shooting yesterday, all of that comes from Russia. Driving. All that comes from Russia. So Iran's tech comes from Russia. What is Russia going to do? They gave strong warnings to Israel and said, hey, we strongly rebuke this. What are they going to do? Because my fear is that Iran knows that they can't respond without their big friend right behind them backing them up. So the fact that they responded in the way they did kind of means to me that there might be a little bit more of a alliance between Iran and Russia. I mean, we know that they're helping each other out. We know that there are alliances, but I'm talking fully back up in a kind of a war. So I guess that remains to be seen. The other problem is that on the eastern side of things, all of the fighters now are absolutely emboldened. These people want to fight. The upper political echelons, they're your typical politicians. They want to keep their job. They want to be eating their nice dinners and having life go on as it is as they sit there and play sides off each other. Not the average, freedom fighter in the street. The average freedom fighter wants to go, to war. They want to war. They want to do what they're trained to do, which is fight. So you got that whole side of things too. So what I think is going to happen now, and to be honest with you, 72 hours ago, I thought that the whole thing was just going to be like Hanye, where they're like, oh, we're going to respond when we can, time of our choosing, and it all would have just kind of slithered away. Well, now that's not happening. I think Israel will go up and go after their rocket systems and their oil systems, like they're saying. And possibly on October 7th, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, who knows, time of their choosing. And they're going to go in and they're going to lay waste to it, and then it's going to go tit for tat. Iran will respond, Israel will respond, then it's a regional war. Don't forget Lebanon, they're still fighting majorly there, or Gaza, they're still fighting majorly there. I think it's all coming, folks, okay? Please, get your preps ready, get your gas filled up, and get ready for a pretty large war. All right, friends, check out the links in the description, follow me on the Crisis Report, and we'll see you on the next one.